Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So this is a football ASMR video meant to help you relax and possibly fall asleep. And one of you gave a brilliant suggestion on my previous video of 2 videos ago, which is the Q&A video I did, and you said, could you do your sort of starting 11 of the season so far? Either do it for Europe or do it for the Premier League, whatever you want to do. And so I'll probably end up doing one for Europe because I've watched a lot of European football this year. But I'll start by doing the Premier League. I hope that you disagree with me and you've got lots to say in the comment section below. But I will give my reasons, and I'm not saying that, everything I say is like, I'm just a guy on YouTube, I don't know anything about football, I just watch it. So this is just me giving my opinion. So based on the matches that I've watched, I don't tend to watch a lot of teams. I tend to focus on particular ones. So I haven't seen a lot of Bournemouth this year, for example, or Brighton or Southampton, for example. But I've tried to be as fair as possible, and I spent a little bit of time looking through stats just to make sure I didn't miss anyone. So either these are the players that have impressed me or that I've personally seen and really enjoyed watching. But by all means, feel free to disagree with me and state. Yeah, sorry, I got interrupted by next door. I had to pause the video. Just basically, can't remember what I was saying, but I'm just going to tell you who I thought has impressed me, and by all means, disagree with me in the comment section. Okay. So, in goal, I actually think more goalkeepers are struggling this year, and there are very few that have impressed me. So my choice for goalkeeper is a little bit of a weird one. But basically, I just think that Kelleher of Liverpool, who's been standing in for Alisson, has just done a brilliant job. And because the goalkeeper is such a vulnerable position, and Arne Slot's team has just been doing so well, absolutely flying every single competition this year. And so it'd be so easy to try and replace one of the... Technically, Alisson is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, or at least he has been over the last, 5 years. So to replace him in a team that, is doing well, you're very under the microscope. And I think that there were 1 or 2 mistakes, but that's kind of also down to the way that Liverpool playing from the back, any player that plays the ball at his feet in the back there is likely to make mistakes. So compared to, some, unfortunately I'm thinking about Spurs goalkeepers here, particularly Fraser Forster the other night, and and a couple of other goalkeepers. So actually more goalkeepers than ever have been weaker this year. So I think that Kelleher has come in and done a sterling job. Let me know, as I said, do you totally disagree with me, or do you think that's a fair assumption? I think maybe Sells of Nottingham Forest. I'm going to put my reserves bench down here. Reserves. I think Sells has probably done second best for me. He's having a great season for Nottingham Forest in what looks like to be an absolute standout season for them. Okay, incidentally, I'm going to do a 4-3-3, or try and fit in the players as best I can to this system. Okay, at the back then, so we're going to do 4 at the back. So I'm going to do Van Dijk. I mean, argue with me, come on, tell me that Van Dijk isn't in this team. And I'm going to try my best not to choose like all Liverpudlian players, because that would be too easy, but obviously that would kind of mostly be possible, but I'm not going to do that. Van Dijk, however, totally... I think I was watching that match against Spurs the other day, and someone on the commentary team called him Imperious. Mountain of a man, champion, etc., etc. And said, how much of this performance is down to him, not down to the goals that are happening, or the runs from midfield or anything, is it him that's really driving them on to do this fantastic performance? And I think, thinking about what it must be like in the dressing room as well as on the pitch, I think I can probably say that about a large percentage of their performances and their consistency this season has been down to him. So Van Dijk is going in there at centre back, and we're going to join him with another Dutch one. So we're Dutch heavy, but we're not going to Liverpool's Liverpool combo so far, but not for the third player, which is for me Van de Ven. Oops, spelled his name wrong. Van de Ven, Mickey van de Ven. Had he managed to stay fit, I think we'd be talking about him constantly, because I believe I've read somewhere that he's the fastest player, not defender, player in the Premier League this season. So he's faster than Brennan Johnson, he's faster than whoever, faster than wingers. He's good in the air, he's good on the ground in the tackle. He's an absolute mountain to try and get past. You can't run past him, you can't get the ball over him. At the minute his injuries are his letdown, so yeah, and obviously they're really struggling without him, and Romero obviously. So yeah, Van de Ven, I would say, is I remember watching the Netherlands in the summer as well, in the European Championships, and they brought him on, and he just changed the game for the Dutch as well, playing next to Van Dijk in a back three. So yeah, I really rate him. I think he's absolutely fantastic, and when they play him in that sort of wide centre-back role where he gets to sprint forward and join in with the attacks as well, I mean, he can run through people. He doesn't look like a conventional defender, but he's also tall. Oh, he can do everything. He's sensational, absolutely sensational. So, Van Dijk and Van de Ven, my Dutch centre-back pairing. And I'm going to stay with Liverpool because obviously Alexander-Arnold is making this list. That cross against Spurs the other night reminded me of Beckham. It was absolutely sensational. It was okay, there was no pressure on him, but the way he whipped it in, and he knew exactly where he was going. And they all said in the commentary the same thing as well. They said, maybe there were, in the history of the Premier League, maybe there were 2 or 3 players that could do that to that level of quality. I really, really hope he doesn't leave for a free and go to Real Madrid in the summer, because kind of like McManaman, he'll really harm. This is what Carragher said as well, that I was already thinking. He read my mind. He would really harm his sort of hero status. I'm not saying he can't leave ever. I'm just saying just don't leave on a free to go to Real Madrid. Do exactly the same as Steve McManaman did back in the day. I'm going to give you my my reserves list is Hussein, Bournemouth. The sort of, he's not actually Dutch, is he? He's actually Spanish. Youngster. He's had a fantastic. He just adapted so well to the Premier League. He was on loan at my club, AS Roma, last season from Juventus, and I could see right then he was going to be absolutely talented. So yeah, for me, he's my sort of standby centre back, and my standby wing back is going to be Kerkez, who I haven't seen. Like I said, I haven't seen Bournemouth much, but I understand they're both having fantastic seasons, so I'm going to put them in at the wrath of forgetting to put them in. Although I haven't personally seen Kerkez play, although I know his reputation, he's a sort of wonder kid, but I have seen Hussein play for my team Roma, so I already know how good he is. So then to complete my back four, I'm going to go with Anthony Robinson, who is being touted as a possible replacement in the Liverpool side because of his incredible pace, but also his ability to go up and down the pitch. And he's had a great season for Fulham this season. To be honest, he's been consistently good throughout his time at Fulham. But the US international gets in my left back. And the reason he was talking the article was mentioning him for Liverpool is that this season they're having a little bit of a problem, Liverpool at left back, because Robertson's not quite, and neither is Tsimikas, not quite got into what slot wants in the way that the rest of the team absolutely has, and so he would be a natural replacement, Robinson, to fit into that and be able to get up and down the pitch, and he's got the pace, and yeah, he's fantastic. Okay, my middle three are a bit weird. If this was a real team, probably wouldn't work because the positions and the players maybe wouldn't play together properly. But that's not what we're doing. This isn't Football Manager. So I'm going to put Rice in the middle here. I was struggling to find a defensive midfielder who's doing better than him this season. You know, there are so many players that aren't performing well. I was looking at, through Man United's team, Man City's team. Obviously, Rodri isn't there. He would probably automatically get in this team otherwise, but he's injured. So, for me, Rice, particularly now he's added goals as well, and his corner kicks are absolutely out of this world. So yeah, for me, he gets into the team. And then the other two are extremely attacking. So this midfield is like, Rice, don't move, because you'll be overrun in the centre of the pitch otherwise. So obviously I'm going to have to put Cole Palmer in here. I would be absolutely laughed off the park if I forgot to put him in. Having an absolutely sensational season. But last year he had a sensational season as well. He's just, he is certainly going to be in the picture for a Ballon d'Or in the future, isn't he? He's just, it's not, he is going to be as good as I think we are thinking he's going to be. I think he might already be that good, to be honest. If he gets any better, how is that even possible? So yeah, Cole Palmer driving Chelsea up the league this year. They currently, today, they're in third because of Arsenal's win, but they have been second for a while. I personally feel they're on a legitimate title challenge this year. I know that their manager's Maresca's trying to temper that, but I'm sorry, I think that they are. In fact, because of the squad and the players and the money and the backing that they've got, I think they've got a better chance of challenging than Arsenal, particularly with Saka getting injured. And this next player, having been injured as well, Ødegaard, the difference in that Arsenal team without him, and then when he came back, it was literally like switching on a light. The minute he got injured, couldn't win, couldn't get points, couldn't score goals. Then he's back, even when he wasn't properly fit, and it's like, oh yeah, we can win again now. He is to Arsenal what Rodri is to Man City. I know they do completely different things, but what I'm saying is everything else tends to work when they're in the team. So those are my midfield three. Who am I going to put in? Oh, I forgot to put Pedro Porro in. So Pedro Porro, for me, despite Spurs having a little bit of a poor season, is still sensational. And actually, if Real Madrid don't get Alexander-Arnold, I believe they are chasing Porro as well, according to the gossip press. I haven't put any midfielders in my reserves, actually. I'm just looking to the side where I've written this all down. Off the top of my head, who would I put in then? I could totally cheat. Can I think of anyone off the top of my head? No, I can't actually. I've got loads of ideas for attacking players, of course. But for me, those are just a complete three. Maybe Enzo Fernandez, because he's having such a better season. Fernandez of Chelsea gets in there, perhaps, because there have been so many doubts about his quality, whether he can manage the Premier League, and of that price that they obviously paid for him. But I think that he has quietened those voices down quite a lot this season. So I haven't done any research. I hope he's having as good a season I think he is. Okay, and then our front three, they kind of pick themselves. I'm obviously going to pick Salah. I mean, I would have to be insane not to. Salah, I just recorded my previous video on the results, and in that video I said I think he might actually be in his best season ever. I watched him play a couple of games this season, the one against Tottenham, but there was a previous one as well. And I remember thinking to myself, he's on a different level. Like everyone's playing one game, and he's just kind of doing something else, and no one. I remember he did this turn and scored, and I was thinking, oh my god, he's like a man amongst children. Like he's literally too quick in the mind, in the body. He's doing things this season that maybe I didn't watch enough of him previously to appreciate him, but I've watched a couple of Liverpool games this season, and yeah, my goodness, he is literally like, why are we not talking about him as a Ballon d'Or contender? Like, he's that good. You can't tell me that Vinicius Jr. is miles better than him. I'm sorry. They're both outstanding players, but Salah is surely as good as Vinicius Jr. Okay, Saka goes over here. No, actually they both play in this position, so I was struggling for a while, so I've cheated and I put Saka over on the left. Because for me, Martinelli does not make this team. Yeah, you know, he scored so many goals for Arsenal. Defenders don't know what to do with him. Absolutely brilliant player. He's out for 2 months, and I'm a little bit worried about Arsenal's chances in that time, because I'm not too sure who puts the ball into the back of the net. You know, like I said, Rice has started to score, but he's not their scorer. They need to maybe consider who's going to take up that role, because he's carrying the team at the minute in terms of the goals that this man is creating. So we got an Arsenal 3 there. So who have I put up front then? Who have I put up front? I'm gonna put Wood. I just realised how many goals he scored this season. I think it's like, is it? Oh, it's more than 10, isn't it? Let me just check. I'm just looking through my foot mob to my left-hand side here. Wood has scored 10 goals this season. Yeah, 10 goals in 18 matches with an average rating of 7.06. He's 33 and he's from New Zealand. He's not from Brazil, and he's not, 21. He's having the best season of his entire career, and I'm so pleased for him because he's such a hard worker. And obviously he had a terrible time at Newcastle, and he's propelling this Nottingham Forest team to potentially a Champions League place, which is, so unbelievable. And it's not just him, I know that. But yeah, it's definitely, if he weren't there, then obviously they'd struggle to put the ball in the back of the net. Okay, so that's my first 11, and then I'm going to put honourable mentions. So I've got Martin Sells, Hussein, Kirkis, Porro, Fernandes. I'm going to put a couple in here. So I'm going to cheat because I'm Welsh, and I can put Brennan Johnson in. I think he's having a great season. He went that like 5 or 6 games, scoring every game. Not the best season ever. Obviously tricky season for Spurs in general, but I think that he's taken his game up a notch. And like I said, it's my video and I can say who I want, so I'm putting at least one Welsh player in here. I didn't put Harry Wilson in, so you can be quiet. And I'm obviously going to put in Alexander Isak. Newcastle terrified that he's going to be poached by someone bigger if they can't get back into Europe quickly, and you can see why. He is just sensational, absolutely brilliant. And then I tried to pick 2 that maybe deserve a little bit of credit. So I've chosen Ahmad of Man United because I've watched not just the Manchester derby, but to be honest, even before that, I thought that he was outperforming a lot of his, higher credential, better paid sort of players in that team. He's really showing people like Marcus Rashford how to do it. Players that, paid a lot more money than him with a lot greater reputation. I think that Ahmad is making a mockery of them with his work rate and his attitude. I think he's been fantastic for Man United in a very difficult season for them. And lastly, Mbeumo, who has scored from the wing 10 goals. Who scored as many goals as Wood for Brentford. So I think that's absolutely amazing, and he's terrifying on the break. He's so fast. So I would not want to come up against him if I were a defender. So those are my honourable mentions in the reserves. Sells, Hussein, Kirkis, Porro, Fernandes, Johnson, Alexander Isak, Ahmad, and Mbeumo. So we've got Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Spurs, Chelsea, Newcastle, Man United and Brentford. And then again, my starting 11, obviously quite Liverpool heavy. Callagher for Liverpool, Van Dijk and Alexander Arnold from Liverpool, Mickey van Ven of Spurs, Robinson of Fulham, Rice, Ødegaard and Saka from Arsenal, Palmer from Chelsea, Salah from Liverpool, and lastly Wood from Nottingham Forest. If you think I've missed out anyone obvious, please point them out in the comment section. I hope I won't be slapping my head and thinking, oh god, I can't believe I missed that person out. But yeah, there we go. Or maybe you agree with me. Let me know as well. That would be nice. And if this video does quite well, then I will consider doing one for Europe and sort of a Europe-wide, maybe Champions League or all European competitions, top starting 11. And yeah, let me know. And suggest people for that video as well. Let me know. I've got a couple of people in mind from the top leagues across Europe, but suggest some for me as well. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and thanks for the video idea. That was a brilliant comment, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.